Broken Heart, Stronger Soul, a short practical guide to transform pain into power, rediscover yourself, and emerge stronger than ever by Paz Goldman. This book is dedicated to anyone who has ever broken my heart. I want to thank you for making my soul stronger. Chapter 1, Introduction. Going through a breakup can be an overwhelming experience that makes you feel like your entire world is falling apart. You may feel like your soul has left your body, leaving you feeling dead inside. Time may seem to stand still, and you may wish for the day to end, hoping to forget it ever happened or it was just a bad dream. However, sleep may take works as your thoughts keep racing through your mind. You feel like a zombie, aimlessly wandering around with nothing but pain inside. The pain in your chest may be excruciating, and it may feel like there's a gaping hole where your heart used to be. Your mind is foggy all the time, and you find it hard to focus on anything other than your ex. Does that sound pretty much like your current situation? If it does, stay strong, my friend. I've been there not too long ago as well. And now I'm on the other side, writing this manual for you to cross that river of pain you're in right now. With that said, I understand that you don't have much time or energy or even mental capacity to read through a 300-page book. You need help and healing immediately with a step-by-step process that can restore your peace and get your life back on track. Even though it may seem impossible for you right now, I guarantee you, you will completely heal from this. Your healing journey starts at a stage of impossible. But as you read this book, you will move into another stage, which is possible. And then you will climb up to the third stage, which is probable. And lastly, you will reach to the stage which it will be inevitable. To achieve this, all you need to do is follow the steps outlined here and complete the exercises I suggest. Once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. And this truth will set you free. The truth you're currently missing is the way you see your breakup. You may now see your breakup as a loss, which is understandable. However, this perspective is wrong and is not conducive to your healing journey. But as I already said, follow the steps and it will change. Dr. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I find this quote extremely accurate and helpful when going through a breakup. In this journey, you will learn that you earned yourself back and your ex was the angel who gave you that gift. At this point, it would be hard for you to believe me, but be prepared for what's coming because it's going to be way better than you can imagine. The biggest breakthroughs happens after the biggest breakdowns. There's always a gift in what appears to be a loss, and my job is to help you find that gift right now. Chapter 2, Healing a Broken Heart. Chapter 2, Healing a Broken Heart Formula. I often compare a breakup to getting shot in the heart, and it sure feels like it, right? Metaphorically, the process of healing a physical wound is similar to healing an emotional wound. Here are the 4 phases of healing a broken heart. 1. You must stop the bleeding, the heartache, and mental fogginess. 2. Saw the wound. Gain a fresh point of view on your situation, accept it, and restore mental clarity. 3. Take mental painkillers for when the wound is bleeding and hurting again. Intrusive obsessive thoughts. Use the tools you will learn here as the painkillers. 4. Maintain the wound and give it time to heal while keeping it clean and away from further infections. Think of it just like an actual stitched wound. After you take care of the wound, time will take care of the rest. Healing a broken heart exercise. Get a breakup journal, notepad, or tap on your computer or phone and journal daily. Note your thoughts and feelings. After every note, write down your energy level from 1 to 10. In no time, you will see how far you've come. Journaling is scientifically proven to help with processing thoughts and emotions. The faster you process your feelings, the quicker you will heal. Give it time. Healing is not a race. Do it at your own pace. The most commonly asked question about healing from a breakup is how long will it take? There is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question, since people come from diverse backgrounds and have had different life experiences that shape their personalities and how they handle relationships and attach to romantic partners. On average, the estimated recovery period is between 3 to 12 months, depending on the situation, of course. For instance, if you are recovering from a typical relationship that lasted between 6 months to 2 years, no kids, and you lived together about a year, it may take somewhere between 3 to 6 months. If the relationship was toxic with a narcissist or abusive partner, etc., the recovery period could extend up to 6 months to a year, and in rare cases, even more. If it takes more than a year, please seek professional help. These estimated periods may vary depending on certain factors like the length and the type of relationship, your attachment style, and your ex-partner's attachment style. Additionally, the amount of time it took you to form an emotional connection may also have an impact on the recovery period. If you attach quickly, your recovery period will likely to be on the high side of the spectrum. Time is not a healer. It is essential to note that the mere passage of time may not necessarily be the exclusive factor facilitating the healing process. Additional interventions are required to elevate the underlying cause of your pain. The work you do within this period is the healer. This is what will make all the difference. While time may not necessarily heal all wounds, it allows you to process your feelings. As time passes, the mental interpretations of the source of your emotional pain will change and become less painful. But if you sit and wait for your healing to occur, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It will never happen without going through the entire grieving process and doing the intellectual work. People who wait for time to heal them are suppressing their emotions and not dealing with them. Not processing your feelings will cause depression and all kinds of different issues. So, make sure you use this time to heal. You do this for yourself, not to yourself. Time can be your best friend or your worst enemy at this phase in your life. If you misuse the time that you have, you will feel like it's your worst enemy. But if you use this time constructively, you will feel blessed to have the time on your side. Use this time to build yourself into who you want to be. I'm always telling my clients that it's not easy, but you're already in it. Even if you didn't choose it, it's here and it has begun. And no, it's not going to be easy. But the real question you want to ask yourself is it going to be worth it? Because time will pass by whether you are growing or dying. Think about the person you will be growing to be, the body that you will build, and the goals that you will achieve. Use this breakup energy to become the best version of yourself. You've been through enough hardships. Now, it's your time to heal. Time will provide you the space to do what's needed and to be what you always intended to be. I want to conclude this section with a story that illustrates the importance of perseverance, struggle, patience, and time. The butterfly. A man found a cocoon of a butterfly. One day, a small opening appeared. He sat and watched the butterfly for several hours as it struggled to force its body through that little hole. Then, it seemed to stop making any progress. It appeared as if it had gotten as far as it could and could not go any further. So the man decided to help the butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bit of the cocoon. The butterfly then emerged easily, but it had swollen body and small shivered wings. The man continued to watch the butterfly because he expected that at any moment the wings would enlarge and expand to be able to support the body, which would contract in time. Neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of its life crawling around with a swollen body and shriveled wings. It never was able to fly. What the man, in his kindness and haste, did not understand was that the restricting cocoon and the struggle required for the butterfly to go through the tiny opening were nature's way of forcing fluid from the body into the butterfly, into its wings, so it would be ready to fly once it achieves its freedom from the cocoon. Sometimes, struggles are exactly what we need in our lives. If we were to go through life without any obstacles, it would cripple us. We would not be as strong as we could have been. Embrace the struggle, my friend, so you can fly. Chapter 3. Why it's over and why it's so hard to let go. The first step towards healing. To stop the bleeding from your broken heart and sew the shot wound, you must come to some conclusions about why it's over and why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard to let go. To fully grasp this concept, there are two main things you need to know about how your mind works. Number 1, the loss aversion fallacy. We all share a cognitive bias as human beings, also known as the loss aversion fallacy. This means that we will work much harder not to lose something than we will to gain something. In other words, loss sticks in our mind and hurts more than a win feels good. An easy way to understand this is to think about gambling as an example. Would you take a 50-50 coin toss and bet your life savings on it if you lose, but double it if you win? Most of us would say no, because the pain of losing everything you have outweighs the gain of doubling it. So, you're not crazy if you find yourself fixated on your ex. Also, think about the words we use to describe it. They broke up with me. I lost them. It is over. Heartbreak. They dumped me. They cheated on me, etc. These negative terms imply losing something, losing trust and commitment. When going through a breakup, loss aversion is cranked up to the max because of our emotional involvement. Number 2, vindictive intentions. When a relationship ends, you want to prove your ex that they were wrong breaking up with you, and you fantasize about the return, crawling back, pleading for you to take them back. But what you really wish for is for the pain to go away. Look at this coin. What do you see? There is one side with pain, the other side with pleasure. One side holds the pleasure. This is the pleasure you're getting from continuing to think about your ex. The flip side of the coin holds the pain, where there is all the memories and the fact that they ended the relationship. You might think, I'm not getting any pleasure from thinking about them, it's only pain. But if you're truly honest with yourself, you love the idea of them coming back one day and saying, I'm so sorry, it was you all along. I made such a huge mistake. Many people have a hard time admitting this, but even the possibility makes them feel so good that maybe one day when they're happy and in another relationship, their ex come back and they can tell them they don't care about them anymore. They got to have the last laugh. Yes, that would be awesome, but you must give it up. If you keep this fantasy alive in your mind, you're keeping them alive in your heart. So if you're having a hard time letting go of your ex, you must understand that to do so, you must get rid of the entire quote-unquote coin, the pain and the pleasure. Why it's over. Understanding why your ex broke up with you can occupy your mind for a long time. Sometimes your ex might not even know why they had a change of heart. They might give you a vague answer like, I'm not so sure, but it's just not working for me. Other times, the reason might be more obvious, like infidelity or betrayal. However, you might still ask yourself why, even if you know why. Whatever your ex told you or how they behaved when they broke up with you, do your best to accept it as the answer. Do you realize that it wasn't easy for them either? Breaking up with someone you care about is never easy. Your ex didn't wake up one day and the day of the breakup and just decided to end things. It took them time, pain, and a lot of thinking before they made this decision. If you still feel confused about the reason for the breakup, know that your ex might be confused too. The next exercise will help you process the reason fully. Why we broke up exercise. Like a forensic investigator arriving to the crime scene to collect evidences as to why your breakup happened. And after you do, you put them inside the evidence box and store them in the evidence room. You can rest assured that the reason for your breakup is safe and secure, and you can open the box when you feel better and more grounded. To start, think of the first few words that come up to your mind when you ask yourself why the breakup happened. Don't overthink it, just shoot from the hip. For example, your answer could be incompatibility, infidelity, or geographical distance. There are no right or wrong answers here. One or more of these reasons are the reasons for your breakup. Trust yourself to recognize why your ex ended things, as you know them well enough. Why we broke up. After you write it down, I want to congratulate you because you've just completed the first step in your healing journey. This exercise will serve you as a foundation of your healing process. This is a very simple yet very powerful step on your healing journey. It has been proven scientifically that when you write down things that bother you, your subconscious mind will have an easier time processing them and letting them go. Chapter 4. He was the one. The second step towards healing. When we experience an emotional loss, we tend to think that the person we lost was our only chance at love. We believe that we will never be able to find anyone else who can replace them. This type of thinking is caused by the fact that while in a relationship, couples usually engage in future planning. This activity can be fun, exciting, and bonding, but it can also be deceiving if your partner is not who they claim to be. Think of your relationship as a movie, and you are the director who cast your ex as the lead actor in your romantic life. You gave them qualities they did not necessarily possess, but you wanted them to have them. As a result, you started fantasizing about everything they would do for you, how they would fulfill your needs, and how well they would fit in your future. This type of thinking creates a stronger emotional bond, also known as fantasy. In this chapter, you will discover that your ex was unfit for the lead role. They might have had a good audition that got them the part, but once they got it, they did not deliver. The problem with this fantasy is that the relationship ends when the masks come off, and then you see they are not who they said they were or appear to be. Then there is no more fantasy, and you still think that they were the only ones who could play this role in your life. This belief makes sense to you since you built this fantasy together. The critical word to pay attention here is fantasy, because this is all it is. It's not factual. You might even think that they are irreplaceable, but are they? We are biologically wired for connection. Mother Nature wants us to procreate, so she wired our brains to seek safety by finding a mate. Once we find one and it is lost, she does not want us to give up on the option of procreation by being resentful. This is why we have a natural biological tendency to remember almost exclusively the good times with someone that we once had an emotional connection with. The exact biological mechanism operates in the female's body after giving birth. She tends to remember the joy of having the baby and less the pain of labor. Therefore, you will remember your ex at their best. You will think about how you first met and how magical it was. But breaking up is not something that Mother Nature had planned for us, so she did not equip us with the necessary tools to overcome this emotional turmoil. This is also why you tend to forget how unhappy you were when your ex did not meet your needs. If you are being honest with yourself, you compromised a lot. Your needs were met occasionally or rarely, and you overlooked red flags. You need to start seeing your ex for who they were, because if you keep thinking that they were so good and the best fit for you, you will always feel like you lost someone who could potentially be the one. To help you with that, take this red pill. It's a tough pill to swallow. Actions speak louder than words, and the action they took was to leave you. They could have stayed and worked on this relationship, but they chose not to. They decided to take the easy way out and not try to fix it. My philosophy in this case is when someone loses interest in me, this is all I need to lose interest in them. The following exercise will help you to put your ex in the proper place mentally. Take your ex off the pedestal exercise. Taking your ex off the pedestal exercise is a process that needs to be dismantled piece by piece. This exercise aims to recognize those traits we think our ex took when they left and bring our personality back into a state of wholeness. During this exercise, you are allowed to open the box of your memories with your ex, but that will be the only time you're allowed to do that while you're still healing. Number 1. Think of the qualities or characteristics you admired about your ex. This can be also the qualities that attracted you to them at the first place. These are the traits your brain attached to at a subconscious level to create a sense of wholeness. In the space below, write 5 admirable qualities that your ex-partner had. Don't overthink it, just do it quickly. And if you're only listening, think about it in your mind and just think of 5 traits that you really admired about them. And if you're only listening, that will be a good time for you to pause and just think for a minute. Play this in your mind and see what 5 character traits and admirable qualities you can think about. Number 2. Now, elaborate on each one of those admirable qualities of your ex and write down tangible evidences that they are true. Recall as many things and situations as you can. And again, if you're only listening, just think about it. Stop this recording right now and play this in your mind. Think about the qualities you admired about them and search for tangible evidences that they are true. Number 3. Were they consistent with these qualities towards me? Yes or no? Number 4. When did they let me down by not using these qualities to the advantage of our relationship? Number 5. Think about these admirable qualities and how they apply directly to you to fulfill your needs and make you feel valuable, understood, and loved. For example, if your ex was a kind of loving person, were they kind and loving to you? Or if your ex was a very diligent and hardworking person, were they hardworking and diligent to fulfill your needs? Having these beautiful, admirable qualities is excellent, but you must ask yourself, how valuable are they if they are not being translated into our relationship? If you're only listening right now, pause this recording and think about it, and then come back. Now that you have a success... Now that you have successfully removed the veil of your ex-partner, now that you have successfully removed the veil of who your ex-partner really was, you have gained tools to stop projecting false images of who they might have been because they are not. This is how they showed up. This is who they really are. And that is the truth. The they can and will change myth. But if we stay together a bit longer, they would change, and then they would be perfect. I can literally hear you say this to yourself. Please stop it. This is not true. Consider this. What would it look like if the relationship hadn't ended but continued the way that it was? Were you pleased? Satisfied? What needs were not met? Be honest. I know that you're tempted to think that they are capable of change and that the thought of them changing soothes you and gives you hope. But the truth of the matter is that they didn't. And to change, it takes time and a lot of work. The kind of work that you're doing right now. Based on research, personal experience, and serving hundreds of clients and hearing their stories, your ex will stay the same and keep repeating the same mistakes that they made with you in their next relationship unless they do the work you're doing right now. However, I highly doubt that they will do it because it takes a lot of motivation for transformation. And this type of motivation only comes from pain. When someone is pulling away from a relationship, more often than not, they don't see that there is anything wrong with them. They don't understand that. They think that they're completely fine and you are at fault. This is a very dangerous place to be because whether we like it or not, the price of personal growth and transformation is pain. And I'm proud of you for paying this price now. Believe me when I say what you will get from this breakup can be bought with money. You will rise like the phoenix from the ashes and become the best version of yourself. Trash talk about your ex. After a breakup, you may feel the urge to speak negatively about your ex. However, there are better ways to deal with this situation. Doing so is simply a desperate attempt to boost your own ego. Bashing your ex will not cause your feelings towards them to disappear and may even lead to a boomerang effect, which will end up hurting you. There are three main reasons why you may be tempted to speak negatively about your ex. Number one, you feel fooled and you want to prove you were not. Number two, you try convincing yourself that what you have lost is unimportant. Number three, you seek validation from others after losing your ex's validation. However, trashing your ex will not make you feel better. It actually makes you feel worse in the long run. When you speak negatively about your ex to others, they will likely perceive you as a low-value person for being with someone so horrible. Additionally, if you constantly focus on your ex's flaws, you may start to doubt every decision you make in a relationship, leading yourself to self-doubt and frustration in the future. Therefore, avoiding this impulse to speak negatively about your ex is essential. Instead, consider talking to the therapist or relationship coach, some professional person who can provide supportive and non-judgmental space to process your feelings. Note, talking to friends and family is recommended just for you to be able to vent, but it's not recommended to take their advice unless they are mental health professionals. The reason for that being is they have your best interest at heart and they are emotionally involved in this situation. So, while they want to give you the best advice, they are not able to do that due to their emotional involvement and lack of professional experience when it comes to heartbreaks, processing emotions, and mental health. Chapter 5. You will find love again. The third step towards healing. One of the most common feelings we experience after a breakup is that we will never find love again. This is especially true when we get dumped because we are so deeply in love with this partner and don't want this relationship to end. We may have given our all to this relationship, but it still wasn't good enough for the other person. This can make us feel like we aren't good enough and no one else will ever love us again. To the wrong person, you will never be right. But to the right person, you will be everything. Thinking that you will never love again is natural, especially in the early stages of a breakup. While we're in a relationship, we attach to our partner. We're chemically bonded to them, which can make it impossible to see other potential partners. Our attachment is blinding us and puts the spotlight exclusively on our partner. Until we go through the grieving process and the bond is weakened, we would not be emotionally available to other people. Even if we date other people, we won't be able to establish an emotional bond or experience a feeling of genuine connection because we still chemically and energetically bonded to our ex. Many people believe that the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. While this might be a temporary relief of pain, it's not a permanent solution. You don't put a band-aid where you need stitches. It's the most unhealthy way to deal with a breakup. If we don't go through the entire grieving process, it will catch up with us sooner or later, and we'll need to deal with it. It's better to deal with it now and ensure we get into a new relationship when we are healed and not wounded, or we'll end up hurting ourselves and this new person. If you loved once, you will love again. Think of the ability to love like a muscle you have cultivated and strengthened throughout your relationship. You can't lose this skill and ability since you've already earned it. We might be tempted to think that the way we met our ex is so magical that we'd never meet another person in the same way. And maybe we will not, but this is okay. And this is called the rosy retrospection phase, where we recall the past more fondly than the present or future possibilities. We should stay positive and expect our next relationship to be what we want because we now have a much greater understanding of what we want and what we don't want. We know how to set boundaries and ensure we stand by them. So know that we've already found love once and will love again. The next time it will be much better because we are not starting from zero but from experience. You will find love again. Pondering exercise. Ponder about one of your previous ex-partners. Look at pictures of them and try to recall the good times you had with them. After that, think about how you broke up and how you felt when it happened. You will notice that you have a very little to no emotional reaction to them anymore. But when your breakup was fresh, your emotional state was haywire. So now you can pause this recording and take a few minutes just to think about it. And after you're done, come back. Welcome back. You just gained a broader perspective and now you know that these too shall pass. You will find love again. Exercise. Assuming you have a child who is going through their first breakup and they come up to you crying their little eyes out and telling you the story about how they got dumped or how they dumped their partner. Then they share with you how devastated they feel and how they will never find love again. Now, in their world, all hope is gone. At this moment, what would you say to them to ease their pain and gain a broader perspective? Take a few minutes, think about it, and then come back. Welcome back. Now, I want you to say this exact thing for yourself. Chapter 6. How to stop obsessive, intrusive thoughts. The fourth step towards healing. Obsession often stems from wanting something unattainable. It is human nature to desire what we cannot have. Take Adam and Eve, for example. They had everything they could possibly need, but their desire for the forbidden fruit made them powerless in the face of temptation. In the case of breakup, it is expected to want your ex back simply because you cannot have them. This desire can leave you feeling powerless in a physical sense, but in your mind, it remains active. Since your mind is the only active part, it leaves you with constantly thinking about your ex. Doing this give you a sense of an accomplishment. But in reality, it only leads you to more profound sense of despair. When we refuse to accept that we have lost something, we often try to win it back to avoid the feeling of defeat. But by obsessing over someone who has left us, we are only causing harm to ourselves. We are losing our peace of mind and our ability to move forward. Rejection breeds obsession. The fact that your ex broke up with you makes you feel rejected, and the human ego does not like to lose, especially when we invest in something so much it's hard to let go because of the law of investing. The more you put in, the more you expect to get out. And you put so much into this relationship that you don't want to lose your investment, so you hold on to it so tightly that it's hurting you. To help you break the obsession, you need to pivot your thought process. I'm sure that during your relationship, you thought about breaking up with your ex-partner more than once, but you just didn't do it. Am I right? I know I'm right. And you know it too. Acknowledging that you thought about breaking up with your ex multiple times and you didn't do it might make you feel even more rejected because you say to yourself, I was willing to give you a chance and I wanted to make it right with you and you didn't. You threw me under the bus while I was willing to throw myself under the bus for you. If you still believe at some level that this relationship was so great, why did you even think about breaking up? Notice this and see it as an indicator that proves you that this relationship wasn't healthy for you. And in some weird way that will be harder for you to embrace now, they have done you a favor by breaking up with you because you would never do it. They saved you from pouring more time and energy and love into them. You develop an unconscious addiction. When we encounter a stressful situation, we usually react in one of four ways: flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. We tend to enter to the flight mode regarding breakups and obsessive thoughts. This stressful situation activates our survival genes, causing our natural survival instincts to kick in and putting us on a high alert. We become overly analytical. We dissect everything and every little detail to prevent a similar situation from happening again in the future. This hyper-aroused state of mind can lead us to become unconsciously addicted to those unproductive emotions. When we constantly think about our ex, our body recognizes that our mind is sending signals and responds by releasing chemicals that makes us addicted to those feelings. This can cause us to become hypervigilant and always be on the lookout for potential danger. To end this recurring pattern, follow this exercise, which provides a structured approach. 3 steps to overcome obsessive intrusive thoughts exercise. Step 1. Recognize the obsessive intrusive thought pattern. Make a note in your breakup journal whenever you think about your ex. Number 1. Note the time and the date. Number 2. Note the emotion you feel: sadness, anxiety, anger, etc. Number 3. Note the thought. When you write down the thought, don't identify yourself with it. Alright? Don't write, I am thinking about them. Distance yourself from this thought and write, I am having the thought of them. It should look something like this. 15th of November, 4:30 p.m. I feel anxious. I am having the thought of what they might be doing right now. It can be longer if you have more than one thought or more than one emotion, but it is not necessary. I don't need to tell you that thinking about your ex is not good for you, because you already know that. But you know that on an intellectual level, conscious level, and not yet on an emotional level, subconscious level. However, this knowledge alone may not be sufficient to prevent you from thinking about your ex. To truly stop dwelling on your past relationship, you need to internalize this knowledge on an emotional level, subconscious level. By journaling for a few days, you will start recognize a pattern. You will notice that you feel a specific emotion that leads you to a certain thought at a particular time of the day. Once you identify this pattern, you will be able to anticipate these emotions and thoughts, and they won't take you by surprise anymore. With practice, you will regain control over your thought and emotions, and you will be able to move on from your ex in no time. I recommend doing this exercise for at least 30 days. Step 2. Find an alternative thought. For you to completely heal and do this fast, you need to cultivate a skill to think greater than how you feel. While it's a very challenging thing to do, especially in the early stages of a breakup, you can do that. You already know how to do that, and you just need to apply yourself. I will walk you through on how to do this exactly in the second step of this exercise. Step 2, instructions. To change your emotions, you first need to change your thoughts. At this point, you need to look at the thoughts that you wrote down when you feel triggered and devise an alternative thought that will be conducive to your healing process. Let's take the previous example, intrusive thought. I'm having the thought of what she might be doing right now. Alternative thought. I'm thinking about how much I have grown. I'm so proud of myself and my personal growth. Phase 1. Character building. You will build a strong character when you distance yourself from a negative thought and identify with positive thoughts. This is how you will overcome the intrusive thoughts, and you will start healing and growing in the process. Think of it like a ladder that you're building, and each empowering thought you think is another rung on this ladder that you're building to get you out of the hole of obsessive thoughts. Also, avoid adding fuel to the bonfire by avoiding any other external triggers like places you used to go together or certain activities you used to do together, at least for 60 days from now. Go longer if you still feel triggered. Important note, even after completing this exercise, these thoughts will keep coming, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. With that said, you will be responsible for not entertaining these thoughts for more than 7 seconds. This is why you came up with an alternative thought. Every time an intrusive thought tries to invade your consciousness, you turn your mental muscles on to shift your attention from the intrusive thoughts and the obsessive thoughts to the alternative thought. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Give it 30 days and you will see that your life will never be the same again. Following this process will not only help you heal much faster, but will also help you, after you healed, to gain mental clarity around other areas of your life. Phase 2, withdrawal symptoms. Believe it or not, that's a good sign. This is what needs to happen. Don't worry about it. It's all a part of the healing process. You have to feel it to heal it. And that feeling is pain. Remember that you're overcoming your addiction. And this is just a part of the process. The easiest way to understand it is to parallelize your obsessive need to think about your ex as being a drug addict who craves his fix. And every time he submits to his craving and uses the drug, he actually feeding the addiction even more. By doing that, his situation is guaranteed to get worse with time. Also, he will get desensitized, so he must increase his doses. The drug addict is addicted to the drug. You are addicted to a feeling. The drug addict satisfies his craving by consuming the drug. You satisfy your craving by thinking about your ex. Step 3. Actions you must take immediately. I want to share with you a story that highlights a point I want to make in this step. An old Cherokee was teaching his grandson about life. "There is a fight going on inside me," he said to his boy. "It's a terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil. He represents anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. He represents joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too." The grandson thought about it for a moment and then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." To stop the obsessive intrusive thoughts, you need to stop feeding them. In this context, feeding them means things like looking at old photos of your ex, recall your honeymoon phase when you first met, replaying in your mind the good things about your ex, that what she did or said, replaying in your mind the bad things your ex did or said, reading old text messages, talking to your ex's family, talk about your ex with mutual friends, checking your ex social media, thinking about what you could have done to keep them, or anything that keeps the memory of your ex alive in your energy field. Revisiting memories or constantly checking up on your ex will only keep their energy present in your body and mind. This will create negative energy and make them more likely to reject you even more. You have to go no contact. This unhealthy and counterproductive behavior will only slow down your healing process. If you really want them to miss you, and if you want their attention, you must remove yours. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So redirect your energy towards your own healing rather than thinking about your ex. Understanding the psychological component of why you might feel the urge to think about your ex constantly is essential. Firstly, rejection breeds obsession. Secondly, because you were attached to them and the connection ended unexpectedly, your mind tries to make sense of what happened to prevent it from happening again in the future. However, the more information you have about your ex after you guys broke up, the more it will burn you. Think of it like adding fuel to a flame. It starts with small flame and turns into a bonfire. Every new or old piece of information you bring into the bonfire will keep the fire burning. The more information, the longer and the greater the flame will be. And all of this fire eventually ends up burning you. Let it die. Don't feed it. I know it's the hardest thing you ever had to do in your life, but it will help you to heal so much faster. Love yourself enough to do this, please. Why you're still so curious about them. I want you to remember that you're hurting and still, quote unquote, bleeding emotionally. Think of it like having a physical wound. We mentioned that in the first chapter. If you keep picking on it, it will never heal. Similarly, when you engage in activities that remind you of your ex, you pick at the wound and worsen it. I understand you're curious about what your ex is doing, who they're with, and if they're happy without you. It's perfectly normal to feel this way, especially in the early stages of a breakup. However, accepting that they are no longer a part of your life would be the best thing for you. If you do not accept this fact, you're only be holding yourself back, my friend. You can't heal wound in an infected environment. If we use the metaphor of a shot in the heart breakup, then having a clean and safe space to recover is crucial. If you stay in a contaminated environment, you might get infected and face setbacks in the healing process. Therefore, it's essential to sterilize your surrounding and create a safe atmosphere to promote quick and healthy recovery. To sterilize your space and create a safe environment for yourself, you need this right now. Number 1, take all of your photos and memories and store them somewhere safe. A USB drive is my personal favorite because you create barriers between you and the data. It will not be accessible to you on your phone. If you do not want to put it on a USB drive, you can store it on Google Drive or the cloud. Number 2, promise yourself that you're not going to look at any of these photos, because every time you'll keep their energy alive, and it will make it so much harder for you to move on and heal. Number 3, erase their phone number, change their name. You are not allowed to contact them anyway, unless they do, but you will not initiate connection. Number 4, archive or erase all of the messages you had with them. You can back it up if you want to, your old text messages, but avoid keeping texts available, because when you're weak, and you will get weak from time to time, you will want to reread them, and you will open up the wound again. Number 5, unfollow, block, or mute their social media. Block is my favorite choice. Number 6, avoid talking to your friends or family about your ex. Chapter 7, healing the void of your unmet needs. The 5th step towards healing. I'm assuming that you were in a codependent relationship since you feel so brokenhearted. This most likely means that you were the codependent partner. Now, it's neither good or bad, it's just your current situation. You have an anxious attachment style or some attachment wound that was still open when you broke up. In a codependent relationship, you get your needs met through your partner. Obviously, those needs will not be met once they're gone. Many people feel a deep sense of loss, which makes them feel quote-unquote lost. This happens because their entire identity was woven with their ex and they completely lost their sense of self. This step will raise the level of your awareness of as many unmet needs as possible so you can become empowered to create change. You want to seek your needs consciously and intentionally in the best form possible so you can meet those needs, or most of them, for yourself. This way, you can fill your own buckets so there is no void and suffering as a result. Healing the void of your unmet needs exercise. Number 1. What are your needs in a relationship? List as many as you can. Example: affection, kind gestures, physical touch, loving words. Exploration, acceptance, quality time, relaxation, etc. Number 2. Go through the list of needs one by one and briefly explain how these needs were being met when you're in a relationship with your ex. Your needs could have been met by your giving, receiving, or both. Note, you will not be able to fulfill all your needs by yourself in an ideal way that a partner can. but you're not supposed to. You need to find a way to meet your needs to a certain degree and fill the buckets, because when the bucket of a specific need is empty, you will feel lacking and unfulfilled. Number 3, lastly, think of ways to meet as many of those needs by yourself. Examples: need, affection, kind gestures. This need was met by my ex when they cooked for me. This need is being met by me when I took my partner out for dinner. How can I meet this need by myself? Cook for myself. Go out to dinner with a friend. Another need: affection, physical touch. This need was met by my ex when they gave me a massage. This need is being met by me when I hug them. How can I meet this need by myself? Go to spa and get a massage. Meet with a friend and hug them. Hug me and tell me how much I love myself. Need, affection, loving words. This need was met by my ex when they told me how much they cared about me. This need is being met by me when I wrote them a letter with things I love about them. How can I meet this need by myself? Talk to someone that I know who cares about me and express this need for loving words occasionally. Write a letter with everything that I love about myself. Need, exploration. This need was met by my ex and myself when we went on a trip together, explored new places, and create pleasant memories. How can I meet this need by myself? Travel solo. Need, acceptance. This need was met by my ex when they forgave me for my mistakes that I made. This need is being met by me when I am not making a big deal of something that they said and keep on loving them as they are. How can I meet this need by myself? Forgive myself. Be loving and kind to me no matter what, and love myself unconditionally. Need, quality time. This need was met by my ex and myself when we went to the mall to do some shopping together and had a nice lunch and walk in the park. How can I meet this need by myself? Go to the mall by myself, buy whatever I want, and eat whatever I want, and come back home whenever I want. Need, relaxation. This need was met by my ex and myself when we watched our favorite shows together or had a movie night with popcorns and other treats. How can I meet this need by myself? Find new shows or movies I like and have a nice relaxing time by myself. While having a partner to do these things is ideal, let me share 2 things that can help you understand why it's not always necessary and actually beneficial for you. Number 1, the fact that you can't fulfill all of your needs to the fullest is great due to the fact that it will be your biggest motivation to work on yourself and become the partner you always wanted to be. Number 2, when you find a way to meet most of your needs, you will no longer be codependent, leading you to be your true, authentic self in every relationship you will ever be in, whether it's romantic or friendship. You will set yourself free. This chapter is about self-love, getting to know yourself, and building a relationship with yourself. The better you know yourself, the better you will show up as a partner and a friend. You will choose to be with someone not because you have to, but because you genuinely want to. You will see the value they can add to your life without taking anything from you or forcing you to change. Everyone that will come in contact with you will love you because you loved yourself first. Chapter 8. Change the story of your breakup. The sixth step towards healing. Right after our breakup, we create a breakup story that we keep telling ourselves and others, which most of the time is disempowering and saddening. This story is usually about what happened and how it will impact our future. Understanding that this story can keep us stuck in the past, preventing us from moving forward, is essential. When we realize that our ex-partner was not entirely perfect or completely flawed, we can see them for who they are and change the old, painful story we've been telling ourselves. It's important to understand that our subconscious mind cannot differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. Hence, the stories we tell ourselves emotionally affect us as if they were true. To heal, we must question the old painful story and rewrite it in the way that it is empowering to us. In the space below, take inventory of the story you've been telling yourself about the breakup. Think of it like a headline of a newspaper. It will help you articulate it better. Number 1. What's your breakup headline? For instance, a man was dumped and now his life is over. If you're just listening to this, you can pause the recording, think about it for a few moments, and then come back. Welcome back. Number 2. What was the story you told yourself up until this point? Write down the painful story. Again, if you're just listening, pause the recording, think about it, and then come back. Number 3. Change the headline of the old story, as the meaning you give to the breakup will change your perspective and everything. How can you substitute painful story for more balanced perspective and make them more healing and compassionate towards yourself? For instance, rewrite it as from a victim to a victor, the story of a man who turned his pain into gold. If you're just listening, pause the recording, take a few moments, do this exercise, and come back. Number 4. When you change the narrative, you automatically feel better about the future. This is because your current point of view and the headline you attach to your story are blurring the lens of your future. With a new headline comes a new story. You can either reverse your old story entirely or rewrite a new one. To help you get started, you can list the overall positive of the relationship ending. Our minds tend to focus on the negative, but to neutralize the situation, you need to step out of your perception and find the positive. Here are some thought-provoking questions to help you along the way. How did you grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally? How did you improve your career and finances? How do you connect better with others? How do you connect better with yourself? How did you improve your physical appearance? Lose weight, got fit, etc. What did you learn? What did you let go of or hang on to? Who entered your life as a result of that? Who did you get closer to? How did your character was strengthening? If you're just listening, you can pause the recording, think about these questions, and come back. Alright, this exercise is an essential part of your healing journey for several reasons, but the most important one is that it helps you develop positive expectancy. Positive expectancy is also known as hope, and it is a powerful motivator for healing emotional wounds. When you're going through a breakup, it's easy to think that the past was better and the future looks bleak. However, the new story you created is a pivotal moment in your healing journey. This mindset shift will help you stop dwelling on your past and start looking forward for the future. Whenever you think about your breakup, Use this story as your new baseline thinking instead of negative thoughts. Don't lie to yourself about the meaning of your breakup. Instead, acknowledge that it has happened for you, not to you. By changing the narrative of your story, you can choose to be a victim or a victor. The choice is all yours, baby. Change the narrative of how you view yourself as single again. You are the true winner of this breakup. When someone breaks up with you, your social status immediately changes. Unfortunately, in today's society, single people are often viewed as less valuable individuals because people wrongly assume that if you're single, something must be wrong with you. Moreover, if someone breaks up with you and you don't find a replacement almost immediately, they are even more sure that something is wrong with you. So now they feel sorry for you. And when they see you, they give you the empathetic head tilt, puppy eyes, and then comes the, "I'm sorry to hear that. Are you okay?" Like you've been diagnosed with terminal disease or some shit. Let people think whatever the fuck they want. Either way, you can't control their opinions, so why even bother? What's important is what you think of yourself, because it will change everything. Your confidence, your view of the world, your potential new partners, etc. Turn the scale to your advantage. If you find your self-perception is having a negative impact on you, you can shift the balance in your favor by recognizing these two facts. Number one, when someone breaks up with you, it says more about them than it says about you. They decided not to stay and work on the relationship where you were willing to stay and work on it. Give yourself credit here for staying in this relationship and not jumping ship when shit gets hard. Also, know that it's easy to stay when it's all good, but true relationship is about overcoming these challenges. You still have this ability. Your ex did not have this ability. They don't have it, and they proved it by their actions. And now, if they don't have the skills to deal with this now, they will not have this ability to deal with this in their next relationship. Until they develop that, they will move and go from one relationship to the next. Number two, you were forced to work on yourself while your ex is not. You're highly motivated to change and don't want to feel this way again. Your ex does not have this high level of motivation that you have right now. Research shows that the vast majority of dumpers learn nothing from their breakup. They either leave and stay single or move on with someone else. Either way, if they moved on and stay single, it means that they broke up with you and already processed the pain while they were in a relationship with you. They don't have any of the breakup pain to work on themselves because they don't feel like there is anything wrong. Or in a case they moved on with someone else, they think that you were the problem until they hit the same stage you broke up or earlier. They will make the same mistake again. They did not fully process the emotions of breaking up with you and transferred whatever they felt for you into this new relationship. In this case, they also don't have any of the breakup energy to heal, learn, grow, conclude what went wrong, or become a better person and a better version of themselves. So they will be doomed to repeat these mistakes that they did with you. Without the necessary skills to maintain a relationship, it will be impossible to make it work. This is why you do this work now, so it will not happen to you again in the future. And this is also why you are the true winner of this breakup. Chapter 9. Restructuring your life, habits, and self-talk, the seventh step towards healing. It's common knowledge that breakups can disrupt every aspect of your life. Your motivation to do things you once enjoyed can plummet, and you may find yourself fixating on your ex and hoping they'll come back. It's time to restructure your life and habits as you adapt to the new circumstances. The extent of this adaptation will depend on various factors, such as whether you were married with children or simply dating for a few months. However, it's essential to recognize the changes you're about to face and figure out the best way to handle them. Regarding your mindset, there are two ways to approach these changes. You can choose to be optimistic and excited about the future and your personal growth, or you can succumb to fear and anxiety and just stay stagnant. The choice is yours. You don't have to do anything if you opt to the second option, but keep this in mind. Humans naturally tend to focus on the worst case scenarios, which can lead to negative emotions like fear. If you're allowed fear to linger, it will invite anxiety, and together, it will create a toxic mix of emotions that will hinder your progress towards a better future. The good news is that you can change this by choosing the first option. It may require some effort and deliberate intention, but it will be worth it. I would help you cultivate a best case scenario state of mind to pull this off. You can achieve this by asking yourself, what is the best thing that can happen due to this situation? Even if some of the things may not be attainable at this moment, creating a vision and having a goal to look forward to will keep you motivated and on the right track. This will not only help you heal, but also promote your personal growth. Faith and fear both demand from you to believe in something that you cannot see. You choose. Bob Proctor. Therefore, choosing faith and focusing on the best case scenario is better. This will increase your positivity and make you feel so good about your new life ahead, rather than feeling sorry for yourself about your old life. You will start thinking about the positive aspects of these changes. The next exercise is designed to help you consciously empower transformation. The aim is to identify where you resist change due to the disruption caused by the breakup and intentionally create new habits to improve your life. Follow the steps outlined below with examples to fill up with new habits to help you to transform your life. Restructuring your life and habits exercise. Example, a habit that must now change. Watch TV together at the end of the day. How can I replace it with something even better? Reading a book that will help me build my future. Life situation that must now change. Moving to another home. How can I make this even better? Get a place that is exactly my style and design it in any way that I want, since I no longer have to compromise. A habit that must now change. Eating junk food together. How can I replace it with something even better? Start a healthy diet, go to the gym, and get into the best shape of my life. Life situation that now must change. Cutting the connection with your mutual friends. How can I make this even better? Go to meetups. Take a kickboxing or yoga class to meet new people and create new circle of friends. Build constant self-growth routine. How you spend your days is how you spend your life. Suppose you don't have a proper habits of self-growth, self-care, and self-connection. In that case, your subconscious mind will try to seek comfort and security through pleasure-seeking behaviors and short-term gratifications. However, these behaviors don't produce optimal fulfillment or results. Remember that you either engaging in self-improving activities or stress-relieving activities. To set up a daily routine that produces desired outcomes, clarity, and success on your life's journey, follow this framework. Write down 5 needle moving actions you will accomplish each day that will move you towards your desires. If you're only listening to this right now, think about 5 needle moving actions. And once you're done, take notes because this is very important. Make sure to cross them off when you're done. It can be as simple as making your bed, and you can work your way up from there. To kick off your progress, start by just tackling these questions. Number 1. What am I willing to do today to accomplish the 5 needle moving actions? Number 2. How do I intend to feel today? Number 3. Create a framework for your day in whichever form best suits your needs. This can be a to-do list or a schedule with times laid out for you and for your tasks. It can also be a not to-do list. Number 4. If you could use one word to describe the person I want to be today, it would be. Number 5. What is one action I can take today that will create extra value in my life? Number 6. I will feel successful today if I do these things. Number 7. If I were my own personal development consultant today, I would tell myself to remember that. Number 8. What have I given up on that I want to take back? Number 9. Am I taking care of myself? If not, what am I willing to do about it? Number 10. Am I using my time wisely? If not, what am I willing to do about it? Number 11. Are my mental processes effective in helping me to be more successful and joyful? What could I do better? Number 12. What negative patterns have been showing up for me lately? What are they showing me about myself? Number 13. What area of my life currently feels least empowered? What patterns lead me there? Number 14. Where am I creating unnecessary stress for myself? What strategy can I use to change this? Number 15. When my head hits the pillow tonight, what would I consider to be a good, productive day? Reframe your self-talk. Self-talk is crucial for maintaining good mental health. Although engaging in positive self-talk when going through heartbreak can be difficult, it is essential for healing and feeling better quickly. In this section, I have compiled a list of the top 7 disempowering statements that people tend to say to themselves when healing from a breakup, along with suggestions what to say instead to feel empowered. Number 1. Instead of saying, if I only had said X, or if I only had done X, say, I used the best of my abilities at the given moment, and there is nothing else I could have done differently. I don't want to change anything because I know that it will soon reveal itself as a blessing. In life, we don't always get what we want, but we get always what we need in order for us to grow. This is probably not what you wanted to hear right now, but you will realize this truth later on in your journey if you haven't already. We all have moments where we think if only I have done this or that. However, this kind of thinking is a dead-end road that leads to frustration. We can't change the past, so let's not let it control our future. Instead, let's use our past experiences as learning opportunities and stepping stones to build a better future. To help you ease your mind and prevent yourself from falling into the if only loop, recall an event in your life that seemed unfortunate at the time, but later turned into a blessing. It can be something like as small as missing the bus and finding a stack of cash while waiting for the next bus, or losing a job and finding a much better one. If you're only listening to this right now, you can pause the recording, just recall some things and think about them. Have some fun with that, and you will see that eventually it turned into a blessing. Welcome back. By doing this, you will be able to reassure yourself that everything happens to your advantage. Nothing is happening to you, but for you. Number 2, instead of saying, I got to do this work to grow and get over my ex, say, I get to do this work to grow and get over my ex. Sweeping that one little word will have a significant impact on your attitude. It will help you view your breakup recovery as an opportunity to become the best version of yourself rather than just an obligation to go through this learning and healing process. You get to grow, learn, and heal, which is something not everyone gets to do. So give yourself credit for caring about yourself so much. It will go a long way. Number 3, instead of making a closed statement such as, I can't get over this, replace it with a leading question, how can I get over it? When you say to yourself, I can't get over it, your subconscious mind shuts down and stops looking for answers. This will lead you to be in a state of frustration and hopelessness. When we ask ourselves, how can I get over it? Your subconscious mind starts looking for answers inside and outside of you. You're reading this right now because you have asked yourself this question before, and here you are. Keep an open mind and continue to grow mentally, spiritually, and physically. Side note, do you know how often an individual has to fail before saying to themselves, I can't do that? The answer is 0. The average person talk themselves out of doing something before they even start, often due to fear of failure. But you don't even try. You've already failed. Therefore, it's crucial not to admit defeat before you even begin. Number 4, instead of saying, I should be over this by now, say, I am progressively healing one day at a time. Don't add extra pressure on yourself by trying to rush your healing process. Healing is not a race. Do it in your own pace. Using the word should implies that you're doing something wrong, which is not the case. The only thing that you should do is take care of yourself, work on yourself, be kind to yourself, and learn how to self-soothe. And that is exactly what you're doing. Number 5, instead of saying, I failed in this relationship, say, now I know better. When you tell yourself that you have failed at something, it is a definitive statement that leaves little room for growth or constructive conclusions. However, when you say, now I know better, you are more likely to improve and avoid making the same mistake in the future. Ultimately, the goal is to better yourself and learn from your experiences. Number 6, instead of saying, this is too complicated, say, I can't figure this out. Breakups can be very confusing and overwhelming, as there are many aspects to consider. It's not easy. If you find yourself saying that it is too complicated, it implies that the situation is unchangeable. This kind of thinking is not helpful, as it suggests that you cannot change or grow, which is false. You have been through this before, and you can do it again. This time, you have the advantage of experience, which means that you can start from a better place than ever before. Remember that you're capable of growth and change, and you will get through this. 7. Instead of saying, "It's not fair," say, "It is exactly what I needed. Many things broken my heart, but fixed my vision." When a breakup occurs, your logical mind takes over your emotions, and you may not want to admit that it was exactly what you needed. However, it has been necessary for you to grow, learn, and become the person you want to be. To fully understand that this breakup was beneficial for you, complete the following exercise. Recall 2 unwanted events that happened to you in your past, and at that time they were very painful and seemed to make no sense. But now, looking back, you see how they had to happen to shape you into who you are today. Additionally, include the long-term positive effect of these events on your life. For example, an unwanted event: getting fired for my job. Needed outcome: getting hired for my dream job. Long-term positive effect: I am happy to wake up to go to work. Now, if you're listening to this, just think about 2 unwanted events that happened in your life, and what is the needed outcome that you needed to have. And then think about the long-term positive effect. Now that you're done, I want you to consider this. Would you still say it's not fair if you knew that your dream partner is waiting for you right now and you're going to meet them and live happily ever after? Would you? Rebuild trust in others and yourself. When someone breaks up with you, your ego takes a massive hit. As a result, you may be building emotional walls around your heart and become skeptical and find it very hard to trust anyone, ever, let alone yourself. Your confidence has taken a hit too, causing you to question your ability to read other people, and you might even feel like you're not a good judge of human character. On some occasions, you say to yourself that you should have seen the signs of this breakup coming. Still, as we have discussed before, it is impossible to anticipate these things when you're emotionally wounded, insecure, and deeply in love. However, what happened has already happened. We are here now to help you minimize the damage and build upon the destruction that your ex left behind. To rebuild your trust in others, you need to have confidence in your ability to spot liars, cheaters, or people who are about to leave and hurt you. The lessons that you have learned from your previous relationship and how you spot red flags can help you to do just that. You can trust others and yourself again because now you're much more knowledgeable, and the next time you feel something wrong, you will either speak up or walk away because you have already been through it and learned your lesson. Rather than letting what happened close you off, let it open you up to new possibilities because now you are equipped with much more wisdom. Rebuild trust in others and yourself exercise. Answer these questions. At what point did my ex broke my trust? Next question. What did they do to broke my trust? Next question. What red flags were there that this was about to happen that I've ignored? Next question. How am I going to handle similar red flags next time? You now possess new insights that will assist you in avoiding being caught off guard in the future. Trust yourself and in your intuition. I understand that your intuition had prompted you to end that relationship with your ex before they did, but you were unable to do so. Next time, listen to this inner voice. Utilize what you have learned from this experience, and now you know why. Chapter 10: Closure, the eighth and final step towards healing. Having closure means that you have accepted the fact that your relationship has ended both intellectually and emotionally, and you are now ready to move forward with your life happily. Closure is something that only you can give to yourself, and it has nothing to do with your ex. After a one-sided ending of a romantic relationship, we tend to believe that we will feel complete again only when our ex come back or express regret for their behavior, and that this act will bring an end to our pain. This is far from the truth, you guys. The person who hurt you cannot heal you. You once gave this person your heart, trust, faith, and vulnerability. You believed that they would take care of you and would be there for you. You gave them a lot of power. Unfortunately, they used this power to hurt you. Why would you consider giving them this kind of power again? What makes you think that they are trustworthy with such a delicate task? Follow the checklist below to give yourself the closure you deserve. If you can't tick all the boxes yet, that's okay. Everyone's process is unique, so give yourself the time and grace while you continue doing the work. Closure checklist. Understand intellectually and emotionally the reasons for your breakup. Forgive wholeheartedly. Detachment, and happily move on. Understand intellectually and emotionally the reasons for your breakup. All the work that you've done until this point in this book should give you the intellectual understanding to ease your mind and the tools to process your emotions to come to peace. To help you see how far you've come, here's a quick summary of each step you took and how to know that you've mastered this step. Firstly, you gained clarity as to why the relationship ended. You shed light on the main reason, which helped you gain mental clarity. You will know that you've mastered this step when you no longer seek to understand why it happened the way it did. You will feel relieved knowing that you found the main reason and you're satisfied with this for now. Secondly, you discovered that your ex wasn't the one and only, and there are many other fish in the sea. You will know that you have mastered this step when you feel hopeful. This realization gave you the necessary hope that you need to keep moving on and do the work to become the best version of yourself. Thirdly, you open up to the idea that you will find love again. Love is a skill you own, and the love you gave them came from you. You know now that the source of love is within you, and the fact that you loved once is a definite positive reassurance that you will love again. You will know that you have mastered this step when your heart is softened or in the process of softening to the possibility of loving again. Fourthly, you learned how to control and direct your thoughts. You are much more able to maintain and control your mind. You will know that you have mastered this step when you are more centered and calm. Thoughts will still come and go, but now you have the framework to follow. Fifthly, you found out what your actual needs in a relationship are and how to meet them by yourself. This exercise helped you to become independent and set firm boundaries. You will know that you have mastered this step when you feel more confident in your abilities to fulfill your own needs and not to settle in any relationship. Sixthly, you turned your breakup story from being a victim into being the victor of it. This change of perspective gave you a fresh outlook on where your life go from here. You will know that you have mastered this step when you have a positive expectation for the future. You believe that your breakup happened for you and not to you, and that your breakup is your breakthrough. Seventhly, you started to restructure your life. You plan ahead, you cultivate new habits, and change your self-talk to empower yourself on your healing and growth journey. You will know that you have mastered this step when you sense changes in your inner dialogue. You take actions to move forward with your life. You're constantly improving. Slowly but surely, one step at a time, day by day. Lastly, you tie it all together to completion at this final 8th step. The puzzle pieces start coming together and you start seeing the bigger picture. You will know that you have mastered this step when you look back at all the work that you've done and feel proud of yourself. You see where you were one day and where you are right now, and you notice your progression. You now know the time will do the rest to heal you entirely because you've done and still do the work. Emotionally embrace the reasons for your breakup. You will be able to emotionally embrace the reasons for your breakup solely by doing the intellectual work and give it time. Doing the work equal, this is the intellectual. Giving it time, this is the emotional. Not too long after the intellectual understandings are settling into your body, you will start feeling more whole, and the heartache that you felt before will subside incrementally. Be patient with yourself here. Detachment. The detachment phase is an exciting phase that usually occurs after you embrace and process your emotions. Around 50 to 90% of the emotions are being processed. This phase happens naturally and requires no additional effort since you've already done the necessary work. It would help you if you accept it as it comes. You'll know that you're in this phase when you decide to end your relationship with your ex. What it means? This means that you say something like, I'm doing so well without them that I don't even want them back. I wish them well on their journey while I'll continue with mine. Or perhaps something like, I've realized that this relationship isn't right for me. I've learned and grown so much through it, but this person will only hold me back and I want to move forward. And they can have the space in my past, but not in my future. In simple terms, the detachment phase is when you say, I'm kind of over it. It's time to move on. Detachment ponder exercise. Ponder about your life before you met your ex. Think about your past decisions and the direction you were heading at this time. Try to tap into the feeling and act as if you've never crossed paths with them, while still keeping in mind the wisdom you gained from the relationship. Another approach is to reframe the way you view your ex. Rather than seeing them as a former romantic partner, view them as a coach who taught you many valuable lessons. This way, you can detach from the emotional connection and focus on the ways in which the relationship helped you to grow and level up. Forgive wholeheartedly. Forgiveness is the final step towards complete healing. To truly forgive someone, you must first understand their actions and then embrace the emotion that comes as a result of that. Process them and detach yourself from the situation. Forgiveness is a choice, but it's not always an easy choice to make. It requires recognizing that we all make mistakes and that letting go of someone you loved can sometimes be the best thing for you and for them. In life, being kind is always better than being right. When you're kind to others, you're also being kind for yourself. Holding on to anger and resentment only hurts you in the long run. If you struggle to forgive someone, ask yourself how long you want to hold on to these negative emotions. Is it worth to continue to feel angry and hurt for days, weeks, or even years? Remember that holding on to resentment, it's like taking a poison and wanting for the other person to die. It only hurts you, not them. While it may be difficult, choosing to forgive someone who has hurt you is an essential step towards your healing and moving forward. Forgiveness exercise. Something that helped me to forgive my ex was thinking about some things that I've done in my life and that I wanted to be forgiven for. And then I just extended my forgiveness to her based on my wish to be forgiven as well. Before you proceed with this exercise, please realize that none of us is perfect. We all make mistakes and have things we wish we have not done. That's just a part of life. We live and we learn, but we can never learn from our mistakes if we don't let them go. Letting go is what helps us grow. So please, come from a place of kindness and compassion towards yourself and your ex while doing this exercise. Ask yourself, what is something that you've done in your life that you want to be forgiven for, and to whom? If you're just listening to this right now, you can pause the recording and ask yourself this question. After you finish, come back. Welcome back. Now, I want you to imagine that you're meeting with the person whom you've hurt and asking for forgiveness for what you've done. What would you like this person that you've hurt to say to you after your apology? Take some time, think about it, and come back. All right, now I want you to extend your forgiveness and compassion towards your ex based on your wish to be forgiven as well. Happily moving on. Move from surviving to thriving. Getting over a painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. The best opportunities in life often hidden with painful endings. These endings often catch us off guard and we're never prepared to deal with them. However, we always find a way to push through. Think about this for just a moment. You survived 100% of everything you went through in your life. Everything that life threw at you up until this point. You survived every breakup that you've had. You survived every bad day you've ever had. You survived every difficulty you've ever had. You survived every death of a loved one you've ever experienced. You've survived every argument you've ever had. This list can go on and on endlessly. No other living creature in this world has such high survival rate, which is why it is essential for you to recognize that you have the skills to thrive, not just to survive. In this final step, take some time to summarize what you have learned from this experience and how you plan to use it to thrive in the future. From surviving to thriving exercise. What are the good things that can come out of this experience, or the good things that have already come up from this? Again, if you're driving or if you're just listening to this, you can pause the recording, ponder upon this question, and come back. I will just continue reading them. Number 2, how did you grow as a person due to this experience? Number 3, what is your biggest takeaway from this experience? Number 4, what will you never do again? Number 5, what would you love to do again in your next relationship? Number 6, what are the red flags you didn't see that you are now aware of? Number 7, it's time to plan for the future. This specific exercise I highly recommend for you to do when you are at home or when you can write it down and not just listen. Okay? I'm going to read this for you anyways, but please, please, please take it seriously and make sure that you do it when you are at home. For now, like I said, I'm going to read it for you and you can just think about it, play around with some of these things and ideas in your mind, but make sure that you're writing it down because this is what will make all the difference for you guys. All right, let's continue. What kind of relationship do I want? Be specific and detailed as possible. Finding the perfect partner can be a challenging and subjective process. However, asking thoughtful questions can help you understand someone better. And here are some questions that can be helpful in you getting to know a potential partner. 7.1, physical appearances. What do they look like? Height, weight, body shape, hair color, style, ethnicity, etc. Or you just you don't have a specific type and you simply want to find them attractive. 7.2, personal values. What are their core values and beliefs? How do they prioritize things like family, career, and personal growth? 7.3, hobbies, habits, and skills. What are their favorite activities or hobbies? What are their self-care habits, working out, eating healthy, not drinking or smoking, etc.? What kind of skills do they have? Cooking or handyman, etc. 7.5, communication and conflict resolution. How do they handle disagreements or conflicts in a relationship? What is their communication style when expressing needs or concerns? 7.6, future goals. What are their short-term goals? How do they envision their life in 5 to 10 years? 7.7, work-life balance. How do they balance work and personal life? What role does their career play in their overall life satisfaction? 7.8, relationship expectations. What are their expectations from a romantic relationship? How do they define love and commitment? 7.9, family and children. What role does a family play in their life? Do they see themselves having children? And if so, what kind of parent do they aspire to be? 7.10, financial values. What are their attitudes towards money and financial responsibility? How do they approach financial planning? 7.11, social life. How important is social life to them? And what does that look like? What role do friends and social activities play in their lives? 7.12, personal growth. How do they strive for personal growth and self-development? Are they open to trying new things and stepping outside of the comfort zone? Now remember, it's not just about finding a specific answer to these questions that you ask about this person that you want to be with. It's about realizing what you truly want in a partner. Once you have a clear idea of the kind of person you want to be with, the next step is to ask yourself, what kind of person do I need to become to attract them? Ask yourself the same questions to find this out. 7.1. Physical appearances. What do I need to look like? Height, weight, body shape, hair color, ethnicity, etc. 7.2. Personal values. What are my personal core values and beliefs? How do I prioritize things like family, career, and personal growth? 7.3. Hobbies, habits, and skills. What are my favorites, activities, or hobbies? What are my self-care habits? Working out, eating healthy, not drinking, smoking, etc. What kind of skills do I have? Cooking, handyman, etc. 7.5. Communication and conflict resolution. How do I handle disagreements or conflicts in a relationship? What is my communication style when expressing needs or concerns? 7.6. Future goals. What are my short-term goals? How do I envision my life 10 years or 5 to 10 years from now? 7.7. Work-life balance. How do I balance work and personal life? What role does my career play in my overall life satisfaction? 7.8. Relationship expectations. What are my expectations from a romantic relationship? How do I define love and commitment? 7.9. Family and children. What role family play in my life? Do I see myself having children? And if so, what kind of parent do I want to aspire to be? 7.10. Financial values. What are my attitudes towards money and financial responsibility? How do I approach financial planning? 7.11. Social life. How important is social life to me, and what does that look like? What role friends and social activities play in my life? 7.12. Personal growth. How do I strive for personal growth and self-improvement? Am I open to trying new things and stepping out of my comfort zone? Now it's time for you to get to work and become that person. As you work on improving yourself, you will feel much more confident, and when the right person appears, you will be much more than ready for them. Write a letter to your present self from your future self. Writing a letter to your present self from your future self, your healed self, is going to be very motivating and therapeutic for you due to the fact that now you are reinventing yourself. Everything you need is already within you. In this exercise, I invite you to fast forward 3 to 6 months from today and tap into the energy of your future self who is completely healed and the person you described in the previous exercise. Your task is to write a letter from this future self to the present self, to the person you are right now, as if you received it in your mailbox. Imagine that this version of you knows what you're going through and wants to guide you and encourage you due to the fact that the future healed version of you knows a thing or two that can help you. All you need to do is to tap into your future self energy and wisdom. What would you say to yourself in this letter about what you need to hear right now? What advice would they give you to move on confidently, knowing that what you're going through right now is initiating you for greatness and that your future is brighter than you can imagine? Here are some guidelines for writing this letter. Begin by acknowledging what you're going through right now. Then, use only positive words. Give yourself a practical advice. Paint a picture of your bright future and end with a hopeful, encouraging message. Take your time with this exercise and do it when you are in a positive state of mind. I suggest deep meditation before connecting with yourself. This will help you with the flow. It will help with not just the flow of writing, but the flow of energy and creativity. In this section, I suggest deep meditation before connecting with yourself. This will help the flow of energy and creativity when writing this letter. In the next section, I have written a letter for you, which you can use as an example for the letter you will write for yourself. A letter from the author to you. Hey you, I'm you from the future. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird to receive a letter like this, but bear with me because I know what you're going through right now. And it's tough. This letter is what you need right now and what I needed 6 months ago. I know you feel angry with yourself for trusting her and letting her break your heart like that. Damn, that was a cold act. But I've been there. And I'm here now to tell you that while it's not what you wanted, it's what you needed. Stick with me. I'll explain everything. See, you're a warrior and you'll get through this phase. Even though it might seem like right now there is no light at the end of the tunnel, and I promise you, there is. In fact, it's much brighter than what you can see right now. I heard a saying that I think that can help you. To spot a candle in a bright room, it's very difficult. But to spot a candle in the dark room, it's very easy. This dark time is here now to show you the light. I know that you're going through many dark nights of the soul, and it may not make much sense to you, but trust me, this is happening for you, not to you. When your relationship ended, you decided that it's not going to break you, but it's going to make you, and it will. But you must go through these 3 stages that I'm about to tell you. Number 1, it will break you. Number 2, it will shape you. Number 3, it will make you. Right now, you're in the break you stage, and it's fucking painful. But soon, you'll move on to the shape you stage, where you'll learn even more about yourself and discover parts of you that you didn't know existed. And finally, it will make you the person you were meant to be. You will achieve the success that you've always wanted. Find a new healthy relationship and experience joy, ease, and happiness. I know you're afraid, but remember that the treasure you seek hides in the cave you fear entering. Fear not. If you don't enter this cave, you'll always wonder, what if? Do not reach the end of your life with regret. Live life to the fullest. Live a life full of unforgettable memories, great experiences, and thrilling stories to tell. Remember how you always fantasize about yourself, gray and old, sitting in your rocking chair, and just looking at the ocean, thinking about all the great things you've accomplished. This moment will come too. My brother, all you have to do is keep pushing, growing, and believing. Push the hardest on the days when you don't feel like doing it. For those are the days that build your character and shape who you've become. Don't give up. Keep on going. Please read this letter 6 months from now and meet me in the mirror. Make sure that we're identical twins when we meet. This is what God wants you to be. God gave you the free will to choose. And I want to quote our favorite poet, William Shakespeare, who wrote, "To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them." So let me ask you, do you want to be all that you can be? I know you do. Overcome who you used to be to become the person you're meant to be. The old you died with the end of this relationship. Let the dead bury their dead. Here's to your new life. I love you, and I'll be waiting for you here. I'll see you soon, my twin. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening to this audiobook. I hope that this audiobook has been helpful for you in your journey of recovery. I want you to know that you're not alone, and I'm here to support you in every step of the way. If you ever feel like talking, don't hesitate. You can reach me on email or WhatsApp, and I would love to connect with you. My email is paz@pazgoldman.com. I am Paz Goldman on Instagram, Paz Goldman on Facebook. Just email me or talk to me whenever you need, because I know it can be very lonely. And I also created a Facebook group, You Are Not Alone, Breakup Recovery, where we gather, brothers and sisters, to talk, to help each other, to be there for each other. And always remember that I'm here for you and you're not alone. You're loved, you're cherished, and you're valued. Thank you so much for listening again. I will see you on the other side, brother. Adios.